Hello, happy Sunday, and welcome into our November altar space. This is Marissa from Grow in the Flow, and if you are catching this on the Marco Polo Empowerment Sharecast for the month of November, welcome in. This is where we are going to tap into our collective energies for the week ahead and see what is coming up from Monday through Friday with our featured tarot deck, the gorgeous Northern Animal Tarot, and this beautiful deck, the Angels and Ancestors, for a bonus oracle message. If you are catching this on social media, this is a sample of the weekly card pulls that I do for our collective energy, where after we pull these cards, I will pop on to the Marco Polo Empowerment Sharecast and give an intuitive reading Monday through Friday for each of the cards that come up. Our bonus oracle card will check in with the astrological weather for the week ahead. And if you would like, I offer you a personal card pull for the week ahead. So let's dive in here and let's do our oracle card first. We are going to ask for a little extra message here this first full week of November, and just continuing to get our bearings post-eclipse. Here in the depths of Scorpio season, it has been very significant, this energy. However you've been receiving it, it is significant. It is a big part of the journey as we wind down these last 2 months of 2023 and prepare to step into 2024. So each of our weekly readings from here on out really are bringing through some potent messages for how we can best navigate these coming weeks and continue through this year, finishing strong, whatever that means for you, in entering into 2024 really from an empowered place. So let's see what oracle message wants to come forward to support us this week from the Angels and Ancestors. One card. I think it's the cover girl. In fact, it is. Look at that. We've got the cover girl coming up. Beautiful animal guardian. And how perfect, because as you are about to see, this Northern Animal Tarot is absolutely spectacular. And it is exactly that. It is featuring the animal kingdom as our guardians and taking us through the wisdom, guidance, and insight of the tarot through a really beautiful lens. So I love that this card is also coming up to support us with the animal guardian energy. Trust your instincts. So we're going to dive into that one first once we kick into our messages. I wanted to bring this in before, and this is just sealing the deal for me. This month for the Empowerment Pack, we're working with the energy of Merlin as for a mentorship and ascended master energy in practical magic, earth magic. And what I love about this version of the healing energy sprays that I have here with the Merlin energy is this is the Woodland Brew, which is a nature spirits portal spray. And of course, at the other end of this week, we will have the 1111 portal. So I was feeling drawn to this energy, the other one. And of course, these are the beautiful healing energy sprays from Angelic Celestial Colors that I work with in my Metatron color healing practice. This is the other one. So we have these two energies coming in this month with Merlin that we are working with throughout the Empowerment Pack. So before we pull the cards, I will say too, if you want to jump in for the November Empowerment Pack, I have a couple spots left. We're all caught up with our month ahead readings. Everyone is receiving and going through those now. Some really beautiful messages have been coming up. So if you want to hop in for the month of November, the Empowerment Pack is 3 readings throughout the month, starting with your personal month ahead energy reading, where we again are using these decks, these healing altar implements, and then we do the new moon and the full moon throughout the month with a bunch of other goodies mixed in. So if you're interested, send me a message or check out the link here in the caption, and I can get your month ahead reading going as well. So now let's tune in here to the Northern Animal Tarot for our Monday through Friday cards for our collective energy, bringing through first for Monday, sort of setting the tone for our week, kicking us off. One card to give us sort of that overarching energy to tune into. One card, please. They're very silky, these cards. They're linen. Ah, ha, ha, ha. Yeah, this card keeps coming up. This is the Five of Wands, and you know what that stirs around. That's my poo-poo stirring card. So yeah, some energies, some old stagnant energies, some futile energies swirling around there. So as we move through that, let's see what is coming up as our potential blocker challenge this week with those poo stirring foxes. Card for Tuesday's energy. Ah, death, transformation, rebirth. As our potential blocker challenge, similar to last week's energy, we had the Fool in this position. Starting over can be tough. It can be hard. There's challenges in the new beginnings. And certainly there are challenges within the process of death and rebirth and the subsequent transformation. So we're going to delve into that gorgeous version of the death energy when we talk about Tuesday. Wednesday is our midweek blessing. Midweek blessing for us this week. Ooh, all right. We're just coming right out here with all of it. We've got the Tower now for a blessing. And wow, this is really a striking version of that card. This is really powerful energy, and it's all transformation. It's all change, and really stripping away and clearing the way for all of the new that is coming in. So we're going to be diving into these significant energies. Thursday represents how we are growing. How are we growing? Let's see. This week, Ace of Pentacles. Well, how's that for a do-over? A new start. I love that. So we are growing in again with this earth energy coming into the physical, to the material, bringing things down, anchoring them in, rooting them in, and having new growth that is coming from it. So some really significant, as I said, energies. And we're going to get into a little bit about the astrology too. We had some significant things happening this weekend and into this week ahead. So I'm going to highlight some of those things as well. So let's get our final Friday card to wrap up the week. And I had another little frequent flyer wink at me. I can tell you from the personal month ahead readings, we had a couple people get the Judgment card, which is really beautiful in this deck. A really beautiful message that I'm sort of brewing a collective message on. So I'm not surprised at all that that just winked at me as well. What is coming up for Friday? Wow. Okay. 10 of Swords. So we are definitely culminating, stripping away, and things that are done. Stick a fork in it. It's done. Energy is here. It's on the scene to be looked at, right? To be acknowledged and for us to move through. So this is why we do this. We tune in because we are using the tarot as a tool, connecting in with our inner wisdom, our guidance, your intuition, using the signs and the symbols here to glean messages, insight, awareness, empowerment into how you navigate, and as we're winding down this year, I'm going to start transitioning from, this is a 7-year, 2023 adds up to the number 7. It's the year of the Chariot in the tarot, card 7 of the major arcana, which has been all about our vehicles and being behind the driver's seat and how we are taking the journey. We are transitioning to 2024, an 8-year, which is going to be about this energy of the Strength card, which talks about taming the beast within. And so as we start to look at, this idea of as within, so without, when it comes to bringing together those different parts of ourself, those aspects of ourself that are going through this healing transformational process, and really getting clear on when we are ruling from a more fierce, ferocious place versus one that's more gentle. And so, we're kind of in the midst of all of this as we're stripping away, pulling away, and really transforming into the new. So that's going to include some significant endings and finalities and things that are done. so that we are able to welcome in the new. And I'm seeing that here on all of these cards. So we're going to get into that. Again, over on the Marco Polo app, it's free, it's fun, it's the November Empowerment Sharecast, and that's where I will be sharing throughout the month of November. Every week on Sundays, I'm coming in, pulling these cards for us, sharing the intuitive messages, offering you a personal card pull. And then throughout the week, we're popping in with some fun extras. We're definitely going to be having some featured card pulls and things this week for the 11/11 portal. We're gearing up for that new moon on the 13th, a new moon in Scorpio. So once again, November is very different energy from October, but it is far from boring. We'll say that much. Okay, guys, I'm going to keep it rolling here. Hop on over to the Marco Polo app if you are seeing this on social media. I look forward to connecting with each of you and wishing you a beautiful week ahead. We'll talk soon. Okay, welcome into our first full week of November. We are kicking off our collective week ahead messages with a little check-in with the astrological energetic weather report. So we're just going to tap into some of the energies that we have been moving through, that we have ahead of us for this week to come. And it's starting with a pretty big one that just happened yesterday, November 4th, as I record this. Saturn stationed direct in the sign of Pisces. So Saturn has been retrograde since June. And Saturn, of course, is the planet known as our master teacher. So some of the themes that we've been moving through with Saturn in retrograde has to do with wrapping up lessons of all different kinds, or perhaps maybe even finding new senses of clarity with something that's been going on for us. So with this just happening on the 4th of November, Saturn stationing direct can also bring in some waves of rewards into our life. So it's kind of like the gold star that we receive when we've successfully completed a task. So, kind of reflecting on what some of the big lessons, some of the big things that you've been moving through over the last many months, and see where you can glean, what themes have been popping up for you, and sort of checking that box with your gold star, job well done, coming through the learning of the lessons that have been coming forward for you, recognizing perhaps as that energy continues to station direct and we move through the post shadow of that Saturn retrograde, really getting some more clarity around those things that have been going on for us. Now, on the other side here, as we kick off the week, tomorrow, November 6th, we have Venus trining Pluto. So Venus and Pluto have been sort of dancing on and off all throughout the year. But when we look back over the year so far, the big highlight all year long has been relationships. First, with Venus in this role that we have been experiencing, this reflecting back to us our relationships of all kinds. And then also we had just come through Libra season just before Scorpio season, which we are in now. And so both of those things were highlighting for us relationships and those dynamics. And so kind of reflecting back as it pertains here with Venus, how have your relationships changed this year? Do you feel more powerful within them? Are you still learning how to claim your power when you're in partnership with others? Here we have this opportunity with Pluto, the planet of power, and Venus, the planet of relationships. So the duo coming together here definitely has been helping us with this journey. So the guidance is to pay attention around this time. If you're finding any power plays coming up in your relationships, and if so, try to focus on how you are being guided to grow. But additionally, just bringing in the benefit of Venus trining Pluto gives us a great potential to meet a powerful match. So opportunities coming in there. And along with that, on November 8th, Venus enters Libra. So of course, Venus enters into her ruling sign of Libra, which is a very beautiful and soft energy to work with. So sounds lovely, especially looking at the cards we have this week. We will take it. Anything that just might ease any tensions that the eclipse may have been bringing in your way. In Libra, Venus gets us thinking about and appreciating the beauty of all that is around us. So we may be feeling inspired to bring more beauty into our lives through potentially redecorating our spaces, updating our wardrobe, changing up your beauty routine, or just even taking the time to appreciate the beauty of Mother Nature. I know where I am, we've had the fall foliage. The trees have just been spectacular. I mean, just amazing array of colors. And of course, we've had our first frost now in the last several days. And the weight of the frost on the trees did help to bring down a lot of the leaves. So we're definitely starting to see ourselves turning into the other side of the autumn beautiful process of the trees, the change, the transformation, and release that nature is demonstrating for us in such a beautiful way. So that's been happening in my part of the world, and perhaps where you are as well. There's an opportunity for you to really appreciate the beauty of nature. So also with this sign of the diplomat with Venus in Libra, we could also be feeling a little more compassionate and understanding of those around us, more open to finding a middle ground. Wow. Yeah. So we'll be bringing that in as we talk about these cards. So kind of keep that front of mind. The last aspect to mention here is November 10th, Mercury enters Sagittarius. So Mercury, the planet of communication, is entering fiery and adventurous Sagittarius. So towards the end of the week, we could be feeling more confident when it comes to expressing ourselves and standing up for what we want. Sagittarius, of course, is the seeker. So we may feel drawn to expand our mind, to learn something new, and to change the way we've been thinking about things. So, you know, this can tend to bring in an energy that's really open-minded, or has like a desire to learn more about something that maybe we thought we already knew. It's a good reminder here with this energy that we are always learning, right? So really kind of, I feel like that's a nice precursor to Sagittarius season, which of course is right around the corner. And then of course on the other side of this week, Saturday is the 11/11 portal. So we will have more to come talking about the magic of 11/11 and how we can tap into those energies. I'll be offering special card pulls or messages here on the Sharecast for that as well. So if you are hearing this over on one of my social media spaces, do be sure to check out the Marco Polo November Empowerment Sharecast, where I will be providing some extra messages this week about that 11/11 portal. So let's go ahead and kick it off here with our week ahead cards, starting with the Angels and Ancestors Oracle card that came forward right here next. Here we start our week with the Angels and Ancestors Oracle message, bringing forward the Animal Guardian. With this message, trust your instincts. And quite beautifully, this is pairing with the Merlin's Woodland Brew Nature Spirits Portal Spray, which is really feeling so aligned this month. I had brought this in intuitively onto our altar for the empowerment pack for the month ahead, and just looking at the colors and the energies that have come forward here for us this week, really feeling this energy on so many levels. Just not even looking at the card yet, tapping into the intentions around the Merlin's Woodland Brew. Something really neat about this energy spray is that every bottle contains a tree agate crystal chip. And tree agate is bringing in peaceful and soothing vibes that connect us in with earth and nature on an even deeper level, which is really neat, as I was just talking about some of the astrological aspects at play this week, and being invited, especially with Mercury in Sagittarius, to connect in with the beauty of nature. And in fact, this healing energy spray is just about that, really bringing us in an opportunity to reflect upon the colors and shapes of the forest, bringing us closer to nature, reconnecting by harnessing this magical energy through the crystal. So it really does help to clear blockages within our energy field. It protects one from negative energies, and it's very grounding and calming. Tree agate helps you to see the beauty in everything and brings the energy of nature into your space. So once again, this is energetic medicine. So I am using this spray and infusing this reading, my words, and the intentions. This healing energy has already been sent your way. While it does smell amazing and it is beautiful to have the spray physically, it is not necessary because it is all energetic. And so you can see how beautifully, as we intuitively chose these cards, set our intention, all of the messages, everything we're seeing on the cards are all bringing through this same vibration. So I just really love how beautifully these two go together. I'm just geeking out for a second here on that. Let's dive into the messages of Animal Guardian. So it says, trust the powerful animal spirit within to learn more about yourself and your talents. So it talks about the Animal Guardian being the card that represents the angels of the animal kingdom. Animals are angels of nature who have incredible lessons to offer and medicine that can support you on your spiritual journey and help you survive some of your greatest challenges. When you connect with the energies of animals, you can learn a lot about yourself and the earth. You have instinctive animal energy within that can direct you towards everything you need and more. The Animal Guardian card depicts a tribal angel being held and supported by her animals. She has a love for them and they have a love for her, demonstrating how incredibly connected nature is with the spirit realms. So expanding into the message, it's talking about you having a powerful animal within. Now, okay, I'm sorry, but if you listen to the card pull, right? So before I pulled the cards, I said that we are focusing on transitioning from the year of the Chariot, 2023, to the year of the Strength card, 2024. And I said that the Strength card message is about taming the beast within and bringing to heal some of those wild parts of us that play a very important role, and really getting balanced in when we are ruling from that wild place versus a more tamed place. So, I mean, all the while I'm saying that, this card was sitting on the altar. And now as we dig into the message, it's reminding us about that powerful animal within each of us that can be wild, protective, instinctive, and even calm. Animals don't second guess how they feel, they just express it. And you can learn from that. So when this card arises, it's important to connect with how you really feel, how you want to feel, and what you really need. Take the time to connect with your animal energy and express it naturally. Let even the fiercest, oh my gosh, let even the fiercest energy move through you before returning to your natural state. It will teach you a lot about your gifts and how you can grow. Yeah, so we're definitely coming into this meeting place as the energies of 2024 start to filter in here into 2023 as we wind down the rest of this year. So I'm really feeling that in this card. This is a really beautiful energy to kind of tap into, you know, what lies ahead when it comes to our fool's journeys as we journey on into what is to come. So let's go ahead now and get into our 5 cards for Monday through Friday and take a look at what is coming in for us collectively. Okay, we are diving in here for our 5 cards for the week ahead with this beautiful deck. How are you today? I'm coming in here on Sunday afternoon. I feel like I've already had a full day because here where I am, we had that thing where we set the clocks back overnight. So we fell back an hour, which usually creates a day that lasts forever, right? Like I can't believe it's only 1:30. But also it gets super dark really early. And that is something that I really struggle with personally. So I'm kind of prepared to move through the season ahead, and it just kind of throws everything off. So I feel like I've already had a full day today. I had to get up very early this morning for a Sunday to take my daughter to a softball game. So I've checked a lot of boxes already to come here to dive in for our messages. So I am taking a look at some of these cards this week and really tapping into, you know, some of the energies that we have about right now. And it's kicking off with the 5 of Wands, with these foxes, right? And we see here that these foxes are each dressed in a different color, which is highlighting for me, you know, different different aspects that could be getting highlighted for each of us in, a lot of times I call this my stirring the poop card, people argumentative or competitive energy, sort of clamoring to be on the top. But one thing we see here is, the energy of the fox, and thinking about what the fox totem represents to us in terms of being maybe sneaky or slick, some energy that could be just kind of having an awareness of where different characters are coming from. So I like to look at the different colors as perhaps even representing different chakras. So we think about if the yellow is highlighting the solar plexus, our gut, our sense of confidence, bravery, courage, joy, but also lack, worry, anxiety, just somewhere in that energy of what we are stirring around, how we are feeling in our gut, really feeling into that versus, some of the other energies that we see here in the different colors, if they were to represent the sacral chakra, that fire within the belly, the energy of creativity, of passion, of our work in the world, what we're creating, what we're birthing, at odds or some sort of conflict with the red of the root chakra and feeling safe and secure and able to be ourself and express ourself and try a thing or be different or be bold, So this can even be grappling aspects of ourself, because there's sort of this, everything's been shook up, right? There's been all this shake up with the transformative energies of the eclipse that has really, sort of created all of this, and we're kind of riding this aftershock, these the waves that have been created by the closing through of the cycle that we just came through with that last eclipse. And then, of course, the first eclipse that we had in October, which was just beginning a series that is going on. So certainly, definitely up until the new moon on the 13th, we are absolutely in post-eclipse energies and very much so, sort of, I think, there's some confusion and mix-up things that are going on here of just kind of getting combobulated, feeling discombobulated. So I'm just feeling this energy. And then, of course, up here, the upper chakras, because we have green for the heart chakra, and we have this purple, which can represent our intuition, that third eye. So everybody kind of clamoring to get it together, So I can see where this sort of disjointed energy, maybe not so much in the traditional sense of stirring the poop around with competing with others. But that being said, and again, depending on where you are, like this is an election week here. So there is a lot of that type of stuff going on this week. Of course, like don't even turn on the television this week because it is nonstop ads and things coming at you and things in the mailbox, all of that stuff that goes into the round file and gets recycled here for me, of, again, that competitive at odds energy that could be present in any number of ways, of course, always, playing up on our small stages, on the big stage. But I'm really feeling this being more of an internal struggle. I'm feeling this being an energetic struggle for each of us where we're sort of, it's busy, there's a lot going on, there's a lot of movement, there's a lot of discombobulation, and yet everything still is moving and shaking and stirring, and yet it can feel very disjointed. So I feel like as we move through the rather bumpy energies of this week, we do have this shining star, this shining beacon over here to talk about. So let's go ahead and keep going and see what we have coming in now for our potential block or challenge this week. Now, Tuesday's energy is bringing in the potential block or challenge through this beautiful version of the Death card. And one of the things you'll notice on more than one card this week is the new sunrise on the horizon, right? So while we see a lot of darker, deeper, or heavier energies that are happening here, we see that the sun is rising on the horizon, which is significantly indicative of new beginnings, of this too shall pass, of moving through this energy. And yes, it can be challenging, right? There can be blockages when it comes to really coming to terms with, reconciling, being at peace with what has ended in our lives, what is dying, what is buried, and buried meaning things that have been done and that we maybe have had buried for quite some time. The book has some really beautiful messages around the death card, and it's pointing out, all of the things that are happening here with this milkweed that is still blooming up here, but yet of course there are those parts that have run the course of being in full bloom to decaying, and how that then serves to create very lush circumstances for the bees, for the building of the spider web, for life to continue this cycle. Each phase is necessary, and ultimately all the way down at the bottom are the bones, and the fact that the bones are the longest to hang around, right? That's like the physical, tangible bits of what has passed, right? And so there's this reference to, what things have we had buried for too long? And, the energy of Scorpio season, which of course, Scorpio being connected to the energies of the death card in the tarot, peeling back those layers, shedding those skins of the soul, each one revealing another layer. And so ultimately we come to the bones. And so things that could be surfacing for you, things that could be coming up to be seen, to be acknowledged, to be released, to be integrated, in whatever way that they are making themselves known to you. Yes, this can be a challenge, to new beginnings, like I said, last week we had the Fool energy here, and that's all about new beginnings and adventure and setting out open. And so if you are feeling challenged to start new, or if you are just finding yourself in a new beginning and just moving through the understandable bumps along the way that happen when we have a new routine, and many people I know in my orbit, starting new jobs, moving to new places, settling in new places, right? And so when we do that, there is this sort of getting ourselves acclimated, even if it's like a time change and being jet lagged, or if it's about, figuring out where to fit all of your stuff, or being in a new job, or any sort of a new circumstance where we are meeting new people and we're sort of finding our place. And of course that could highlight here the dynamics of that Five of Wands. Those things can be challenging, and not in a painful way or in an overly, complicated or difficult way, but it's just something that, we're navigating. And so that can show up for people in so many different ways. But the thing about the death energy is, once we surrender to the inevitable of all things passing, all things ending in order to create new beginnings, then we can even get to a place where we might look forward to that new sunrise on the horizon. And while it may be bittersweet to release or let go of what we are leaving behind or what has gone, we can turn to the new that is coming in with some degree of excitement, anticipation, or, greeting that in a way that is showing the universe, I'm ready, right? I'm ready. I've created space. I'm releasing this excess that needs to go. So there's some really beautiful messages. I'm just going to look here in the little book because I thought there were some lovely words here around that. Everything must change, pass, or die. And, the understanding that, yes, in these cycles, we understand that there is give and take, and yet pain is pain, loss is loss. And we are guided to feel everything that comes up, feel it all. In the world's cosmic dreams of life, living fully, and really experiencing all the lighter and the darker parts of life. So the guidance is, don't hold back, be alive, feel it, and then let it heal, right? We have to feel it to heal it. So the things that are coming up to the surface, the things that are passing, we experience it all, the light, the dark, we feel it, we heal it. Right? And then we turn to the new that is coming in. And so, in that process, it can feel lonely, but the earth is here for us to stand on and to lean on. So you are never alone. The universe is here, loving you always. So another card that is bringing in this message of connecting with the earth, connecting with the energy of the animals, of our ancestors. And again, just seeing a really beautiful nod there with those bones that are at the very bottom, that very final physical part of the journey. What has come up for us to move through, to feel and heal. And yes, it can be a block. It can be a challenge. It is significant. I think that's my new word for right now to describe this energy. I usually like to say, oh, that's interesting. It's very interesting, but it's also quite significant. Speaking of significant, let's check out the Wednesday card for our midweek blessing. Now, Wednesday is our midweek blessing. And so in the tarot, when we talk about some of, those cards that you get that go, okay, so I got the Death card. All right, I got the Tower. Oh, I got the Ten of Swords. It's nothing to fear. This is about, these cards are to be used here as a tool with the signs and symbols that can evoke in us intuitive messages of waking up our innate ability to understand the energies that are around us. We're really talking here about connecting in with nature, and that includes our nature, getting in touch with nature of which we are a part. So this is, definitely a significant energy. The Tower, it's a blessing though. And so like most Tower cards, and we've seen plenty of those together here, we see this energy of a flash of something striking that has come in and created sudden change, unexpected change, an upheaval. And in this case, lightning striking a tree that is just on the edge of a cliff, which I think is interesting because one of the things I like to say about the Tower energy, especially in those gorgeous decks that depict the Tower as a tree, a similar one that's coming to mind is my soul deck, The Light Seers by Chris Ann, where we see that beautiful Tower energy of the tree that has been brought down to its stump. And yet it's in a stage of redevelopment, of living again, with welcoming in the creatures of the forest. Here we're seeing it just as it's happening, which is perhaps displacing some of those creatures and creating this upheaval and this instant flame, this fire that's erupting within this tower, this structure. And yet one of the things that we say about the tree and the idea of a storm coming along and disrupting the energy is this tree was half off of a cliff, right? So part of its root system was rooted and grounded into the earth, and part of it was hanging off of a cliff. So we're talking about things that are perhaps ready to be removed, ready to shed, ready to release and let go. And so if we've been clinging on to things that are past gone, as the Death card was just showing us in the potential challenge, those things are dead, right? They're rotten, they are no more, and they're buried, and and we're hanging on in a way that it's time for it to go. And so whether this is something that we are doing the work, that we are very much, in the driver's seat, as we've been talking today, between the Chariot energy and the Strength energy coming in. If I'm behind the driver's seat from an empowered place and I'm doing the work and I'm releasing and I'm shedding and I'm forgiving and all the things to create space, or I'm hanging on and something then will come along to move it for me. So there is this energy of, there is a blessing in the upheaval. There's a blessing in the things that are unexpected and create movement, momentum. And so, things that have come up for you through this process, and I'm really feeling that this is, again, part of all the eclipse energy, what has come in and sort of been shook up for you, what is being eclipsed from your life, relationships that are eclipsing out, and relationships that are eclipsing in. We see that there are relationships here in that the tree was providing shelter to the animals. There's all of this beautiful circle of life that's happening. And part of that is the storm, the energy of disruption, the energy of termination, which then leads to, again, creation of new, the ability for something new to come from that which has passed. So again, there are some beautiful words here around the tower energy, and thinking about this as a blessing, we can tap into some of these messages talking about, those times in life where we are losing our footing, crashing, burning, not being able to see clearly. So, yes, it is okay to feel scared or angry when you've lost everything. Feel it and then write it all out. So there's some guidance here to write it out or express it in a way that is resonant for you. So sometimes when things get really heavy or there's really a lot going on, it's like, okay, I got to get this together. Like, let me roll up my sleeves and see where to start first. And this is where we can actually write something out, create a list, create a starting point that we can pick up the pieces of what it is that we are now healing and bringing into the new. So it's talking about, now you can map your way to safety or to new ideas on how to handle the situation. You are never alone. Reach out in dream work and write out all of your worries and fears. It's time to reevaluate parts of your life now. So reach out in dream work. So that's interesting too. So if you have things that are coming in for you in your dreams, or in your, even when you are just imagining things or thinking about, what is possible, and it feels really big, it's feeling like, yeah, right, before I can even think about that, this, and this has to come down, has to change, has to be different in some way. Dreaming for what is possible and allowing ourselves to really just even starting that act of writing it or saying it, or spending time in that energy of where we wish to be on the other side can help to create some positive momentum, in the direction of what it is that we desire. But, looking back on things that you might be considering a loss or something that has eclipsed out of your life, can we take a moment to look at that and see how ultimately it may actually have been for the best? Something that happened or something that didn't happen that actually ends up creating some momentum in a direction that is feeling very aligned for us, or actually jolting us into action on a particular path that we may not have otherwise gotten on ourselves. And that is a blessing, to be able to see how it was that thing giving me that swift kick that got me moving. And now look where I am, or look where I am headed. And there's this beautiful, again, new sunrise on the horizon. There is light, there is calm, there is beauty and rebirth after the storm. So let's take a look at our beautiful silver lining coming in here for Thursday. Now we have Thursday, how we are growing. And first thing when I looked at this, who says money doesn't grow on trees? How are we growing? Well, look at that. It's these two trees producing this beautiful pentacle. The pentacle bringing in seeds, new seeds of growth. And of course, as we've been working with Merlin here and talking about practical magic and getting grounded and bringing things down to earth and putting them into practical use, we have the suit of pentacles as the earth energy, as the root chakra, as the seeds that are planted and of course slowly taking root and beginning to produce growth. How are we growing? Ace of Pentacles is an offering, is a message, is an arrival of something. And to me, this is a pretty significant pentacle, right? It's literally growing between two trees. And so as we just came through the energy of the tower, we now see the new, what is possible on the other side of new growth. And so, how we are growing is potentially into seeing the gifts that come from the upheaval and the loss and the things that we are shedding and releasing that create space for new gifts, that create space for new opportunities. So we have this Ace of Pentacles coming in again, sort of like a silver lining for our week, where we feel that there is some tangible progress that is happening here through all of this. I talked about how the beginning of our week with the Five of Wands could represent different aspects of us, and specifically tuning into our chakras, and how each of those foxes might represent different energy centers in our body and being discombobulated, right? Not being working in harmony, or together in tandem, right? There's discord. Well, here I feel again, the material energy of the Pentacles is bringing us into our root chakra, our base, to say you are safe, you are secure, you are enough in order to branch out, in order to grow into the new. You already have that seedling, that seed money. It's like a deposit in the direction of where you are growing. So I think that, on the other side of, and again, remember these cards are not linear, time is not linear. And so these cards are not just happening Monday, Tuesday. This is energy that's weaving a story. It's speaking to us on a collective level to say these are overarching themes and energies that are present this week that we can work with through the lens of, ideally, we want to set the intention that we're working with them through the lens of our empowered self, our higher self, our wise self, not our ego self, our 3D, self, or one that is disempowered through the lens of lack, right? Because where my energy, my focus is going, energy is flowing, right? So if I'm focusing, like, where do I want to be, right? Where do I want to be when it comes to which tree do I want to feed? Do I want to sit here and stir around what happened that time that I was struck and loss ensued and, brought me down to my trunk? Or do I want to focus on that time that the golden coin appeared and gave me just what I needed in the moment in order to take that next step forward into growth, into the new? So, again, I think, what are you investing in? Because this talks about money, yes, the actual money, but the Pentacles can, really represent all of our material wealth and also energetic wealth. So the things that we have invested in, and how we are investing our time, our energy, yes, our money, all of those things have been coming up. Of course they have. We're on the other side of that lunar eclipse in Taurus, and the Taurus energy has absolutely had us looking at that physical, tangible connection with our work, with our money, with our worth. Right? Again, we see the yellow. That was the first thing I was drawn to with these foxes, was the yellow, right? Was the solar plexus, the source of I am. How am I finishing that sentence? I am. And so am I powerful? Am I abundant? Am I strong? Am I brave and courageous? Am I worthy? Am I joyful? Right? And where am I going to put that focus? So I feel like this beautiful, big, bold coin that's coming in here is one to really, really hold on to in thinking about, how am I going to invest this nugget, this coin of wisdom, of guidance, of awareness, the things that have come in through this process, planting new seeds. So, we're really looking to this energy to be a beacon as we navigate, again, the aftershock, the waves, the what has come after all of this transformative energy that we have just come through with the eclipse. And then also remember too, as I said, Saturn just stationing direct, really bringing through some of those big lessons and, master teacher energy for things that we are growing into. So I think that will continue to unfold as well. Let's take a look at our final card for Friday. Okay, so finally Friday brings in the 10 of Swords. Do not be dismayed. I know, like I said, there's a lot of darker, heavier energies here potentially this week, but there are some really beautiful messages in this card, and specifically as interpreted through the Northern Animal Tarot. So of course, 10 of Swords. Swords represent air, right? Air is connected in with our thoughts. which is about our beliefs, which is about our ideas, our concepts, things happening in the head. So interesting that we've been talking about really coming into the physical, connecting with earth, coming into the body, bringing in tangible, right? Like that ace of coins, tangible material that we are working with. And yet this is all about the head. You know, also the lightning coming in with the tower, striking right here, striking us at the crown. These different aspects of ourself stirring around futile energy. So one thing I really like about the focus of the card through the lens of the Northern Animal Tarot is it's talking about the idea that these swords are almost like a wall in front of the shadowy mountains that we see in the background with that sunrise just trying to peek through, saying, hey, follow the light. There is a new dawn on the horizon. And yet we can't see it because we have this wall of thoughts, this wall of headsy energy that's pinning us down and holding us here under the weight of those limiting beliefs, right? Those old thoughts that are no longer serving us. So it talks about how at this moment, destructive thinking has overcome the situation that you are trying to work through. So it invites you to take care for yourself, not to run yourself into the ground by neglecting your basic needs for rest and solitude, right? So being in tune with what we need. Pentacles is talking about meeting our needs for safety, security, and abundance. You know, what am I focusing on? Which tree am I putting my thoughts and my energy into? And when I thought about that, it kind of reminded me of like a lightning rod, okay? So there's a storm out there, and I'm laying here with literally 10 metal daggers in my back, like just inviting the lightning to strike, like a lightning rod. Like, does that make sense that I'm gonna run around in a storm waving around a bunch of metal swords? No, of course not, because where my focus goes, energy flows. So if my focus is on the lightning, the storm, you know, then I am giving that power and I'm amplifying that energy. So it's kind of feeling that connection then between these cards through this lens of, you know, really looking at those destructive thoughts and how, you know, how that has overcome the situation that you are trying to work through. So it says, take care for yourself. Don't run yourself into the ground by neglecting your basic needs for rest and solitude. As I said, overdoing it all the time won't help you or anyone else at this time. Cut out all the excess bad thoughts that drag you down, making you forget the purpose of your life and why you are here living it. So the invitation is to take care now, to start loving yourself more. Make space for personal care. So I thought that was really perfect because when I talked about the energetic weather report this week and we talk about Venus being active, really bringing us into our bodies, how we're caring for our bodies, about feeling beautiful and beauty around us and feeling connected to all of that. So again, this also feels like an opportunity for us to look at those things. And another little fun fact about the Ten of Swords is that the Ten of Swords can actually represent like medical procedures. It can actually represent, you know, having some things attended to medically, you know, so people who are having like surgical procedures. I actually know someone very close to me this week who is having surgery actually this week. So that's resonating for me on a very practical level of, again, coming to the end of a particular bout with something and receiving some type of treatment or relief or something that is helping us in a physical, tangible way. So again, you know, getting beyond the damaging weight of the thoughts, and again, bringing us back into the death and tower energy of those old thoughts, those old beliefs, the things that are ready to be shed, the things that are ready to be released, and the active role that we have, again, to take the reins. And remember, at the end of the week, when we have Mercury moving into Sagittarius, that we may be feeling more confident, more bold. So that could be empowering, tapping into that energy of yellow in the solar plexus and having that bravery, that courage, that boldness that removes out the swords, representing again those damaging lower vibrational thoughts, and is able to clear a pathway into the new with that sunrise on the horizon. So new beginnings to come. And of course, so this represents the 10th. And then as we move into the weekend, we have that 11/11 portal just before the Scorpio new moon on the 13th. So again, that is going to be creating a new cycle, a new time for planting of seeds, intentions, and ideas. So this could be a really good week for us to wrap up a lot of this old residual energy that we see cropping up and stirring around in order to move into the new. So there we have our 5 cards, and we also have my husband using the leaf blower right outside the window. So we're clearing it. We're clearing it here, right? We're letting nature speak. Just like, the physical clearing up and removal of things, the energetic of our old thoughts and limiting beliefs, to letting nature show us exactly how we have this opportunity to clear the way, to create space. Like I said, we had a lot of leaves that fell over with our first frost here, so just sort of clearing out the way. And for this week, just wanted to again let you know that if you want to come in for the empowerment pack for November, I still have a couple spaces. So if you would like to get your personal reading for the month ahead, you can do it one of 2 ways. You can just have one Hello Empowerment reading with me to get your full reading for the month ahead with the color, the crystal, and all of the altar elements that came forward to support us, along with my channeled words into the woods, which is quite interesting. So I would love to share that with you. Then we dive into your personal cards for the beginning, middle, end of the month, and we pull one of these angels and ancestors cards just for you. And then if you just want to leave it there and have your one reading for the month, or if you want to come in for the full empowerment pack, we will also be diving into the new moon in Scorpio, and then at the end of the month into the full moon at the end. So much more to come there. If you're interested, please message me, let me know, and I'll get you all set up for that. Otherwise, if you would like a personal card pull for this week ahead, you can also quick reply here, send me a message, and I'll be pulling those cards here for us this week, sending you a private polo over here on the Marco Polo November Empowerment Sharecast. If you've seen this on social media, on YouTube, do look for the link in the caption. Come join us over here on Marco Polo. Much more to come this week and throughout this month. So thank you guys, sending you lots of love and many blessings. Until next time.